Hello, everyone. It looks like it is getting to be that time for us. And thank you all for coming, all of you who are online, and I'll try to pay some attention to you. But we have a nice group sitting out here as well. And I'm just grateful for this gathering. I'm grateful that this pandemic seemed to turn a corner as we needed it to turn a corner, so that this kind of gathering doesn't feel dangerous. So I am very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for this chance for all of us to gather who knew Dick well and to share those memories. So I invite you, those of you who are out there, I don't think you who are online, I think all of you kind of had a chance at the service. So we don't have the technology to hear from you, but we will be hearing from all of you who are out there. So in our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we are going to light our chalice with words by Reverend Cynthia Landrum. For the wonder and inspiration we seek from sun and stars and all the lights of the heaven, we light this chalice. And I chose this reading because of Dick's love of camping, which I think almost always includes a love of the night sky. So thank you all for gathering. This is our chance, and especially you, Russell. Thank you for coming. And we just really hope that we see more of you now. We hope that you come and get involved with us and I'll let you know the fun things that are happening, and we'll be inviting you, because even though our services won't be in person probably until September, we're guessing, we are going to have smaller social times when we can have fellowship. So we won't be missing that. And Russell, I hope that there will be some of those times you'll want to come and share with us. So as Unitarian Universalists, there are some among us who I believe in the resurrection. But I believe that most of us believe in a traditional resurrection, I'll say. But I think, I know as a pastor, I believe that we keep people alive around us by telling stories of their lives. So this is a kind of wake, and I don't think Cal brought any whiskey. We're going to do that maybe at the next one. But we wanted to start this tradition, which we had our first one in March, just so that we could have a less formal time for us to just, whatever comes up for you that you remember, and things that you would like to share, things that perhaps don't seem important, details that could be extremely important to Dick's family, who are gathered on Zoom and who will be listening to this when it is recorded. So the time is yours for memories.
Barb and I'm not going to talk about camping, but as I look around, I think there are only 2 or 3 people here that haven't gone camping with Dick. I'll let you talk about the camping part. Part of what I wanted to say, I had assumed there would be some other folks here besides all of us who knew him way back when. But I don't know how many of you remember when we first met Dick, he was probably 6 foot tall, straight as a straw and doing just fine. And then he had a back injury and it was kind of literally downhill from there. So anyway, and another thing, kind of to Russell, I would love to have the recipe for flaky biscuits. I know how to make biscuits, but I've never been accused of making flaky ones. So if you would be willing to share that, I would love it. Thank you.
I'm Bobby Bollinger. I remember when Dick first came to Prescott. He was looking for a home and was real estate shopping, and he was looking for a Unitarian congregation, and he came to Granite Peak. And then he was gone for a while. He went back to Pennsylvania and he picked up Robin, and out they came and were a part of our community ever since then. One of my favorite memories of Dick was going to their home for dinners for 8 or circle supper. And he served chalupas, which I think he must have been known for. I thought it was just the best dish to serve to a whole bunch of people because it was sort of an assemble your own dinner on your plate with whatever you wanted from a variety of ingredients that he had out on the table. So I took the recipe home with me and have made it several times. It starts with he cooked pork for a long time all day and it was tender in the crock pot, and the shredded pork went over chips and salsa and tomatoes and onions and cheese and whatever you wanted to put on the top. And so you ended up with a mounded plate full of delicious food with just the ingredients that you particularly liked. So thank you, Dick, for the chalupas. I will think of you always.
I'm Russ Erickson. I guess my first sort of close encounter with Dick had to do with when he was no longer treasurer and I became treasurer the first time. And it was all about balancing that checkbook, getting all those things entered in there correctly. And he had all the details on it. I remember I had to call him in a few times to figure out exactly what I was doing. And he was very good with that. I always kind of appreciate it because he was never impatient about anything like that. He was very sort of calm, which I think he seemed to be just about all the time. And then I think about some of the experiences that he had overseas and feeling sort of I don't know, a kinship about that, being in certainly in Puerto Rico, and I think Peru is the other one that I'm thinking of where he was, and I was just always fascinated to hear what he was doing in these countries, working with tropical soils, I guess was one of the big parts of it. And I can't imagine the knowledge that he had of all that to be able to do that sort of work. But and we didn't see much about soils once you got to Granite Peak, but I think there was a very long, interesting career there. So, and camping down, we were camping at the Salton Sea one very windy night. I remember Lena and I were camping in this 7-foot dome tent, and the wind came off of the Salton Sea and it blew the tent completely almost flat on its, its springs. And I remember looking over to see Lena, and I couldn't see her because the tent had billowed in between us. And it was crazy, but they were kind of snugged into their, they had a camper that the top popped up on, as I recall. And that was a fun time there too, in spite of the wind. Yeah. So anyway, that's my thoughts.
I'm Gwen James. We went camping with him too, he and Robin, in our little pop-up top. Yes. At the end, about the last year, Dick was in my cello circle, and he was pretty quiet. And when we would go around and answer a question or thoughts on a question, he would just be very brief and not say much. And then when I would ask a question about some little piece that he had said, it may have been just a half a sentence, but something that I could ask him about more details. And then he would come up and say more and more and more. He had a very fascinating, interesting life.
My name's Lena Huben. I have to go back to the Salton Sea. Just because my first teaching job was about 5 or 10 miles away from there. And it was the first time I'd been back to that little school. But yeah, I mean, that place is just funky. And wasn't it you two, it was your idea to go there? And then you never showed up. Because yeah, really. It was a memorable trip though, and just, Dick and Robin, yeah, were always cool. But more than that, what stands out as unique and surprised me was that it was May 5th, Cinco de Mayo in 2018, that I had my book launch party here for the book that I wrote. And Dick Fox was there, and it just kind of surprised me. I don't know what his reading habits are like otherwise, but it just pleased me that he was interested. And maybe it was because he knew we'd been overseas and he figured that would show up in there somewhere. I don't know, but it really pleased me that he was there and he got my signature and all that, and told me later, had words about the book. So yeah, he was a really cool guy.
There were two things that Dick and I would always talk about: soil and trees. And we both enjoyed both of those subjects, and he was very knowledgeable. Thanks, Dick, for all the information.
I'm Fred Ford. We've never gone camping with anybody. But in several meetings with Dick, he would show up with this great brown, looked like alpaca cardigan sweater. And I just glommed on to that style. And he got me, I mean, he didn't know it, but he got me started wearing sweaters. And I followed the adage that anything worth doing is worth overdoing. But he started it. And this is not an important issue, but it was important to me because that was one of the things that we connected about. And I've always enjoyed being around Dick, even as little as he would say. I had the opposite problem, but it was really a pleasure to be with him.
I guess I have to rebut that. I'm Bonnie Ford. Not really. I just always felt simpatico with Dick, and maybe everybody did. He just had that kind of personality. I'm kind of a shy person, and I felt like he was kind of a shy person. And usually, shy people don't communicate much, but I just always felt simpatico with him. And he was always there on our side of the congregation, in that same row, and he was always early. And I was always running late, seemed like, but there he was to say hello and smile every Sunday morning, sometimes with Russell and others. But and this doesn't have to do with Dick really, but I had the pleasure to serve on a jury with Russell a few years ago. And Russell was the foreman of that jury. So that was a special experience for me in more ways than one.
I'm Norma Meyer, and I just guess I have random thoughts. One random thought was, I grew up in southern Pennsylvania, and in my town, there were two views of one side, and that was collegiate football. One team was from Pittsburgh, and the other team was from Penn State. And so I have a little affinity there with Penn State, and of course, that's where Dick spent a good amount of his time. Another random thought was that I had no idea all of the things and places Dick had been until the memorial service. And it's like, it's sort of an interesting thing that we meet people in our later years. And we really have very little idea about what their lives have been like. So that was really eye-opening. And then another random thought is Cal and Barb were up camping up at Potato Patch last year or the year before, I don't know, year before. Anyway, Hugh and I had decided we'd go up and visit them one afternoon or one evening, and we had offered to take Taya and Dick with us. Well, the weather forecasts were not good. And so after much thought, we said, okay, we're not going to do this because we're going to get up there. It's going to be raining and da, 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 da. Well, come to find out later, Dick had gone by himself. He wasn't afraid of the weather, and he just decided he'd go anyway. So it was pretty impressive that he just blew us off, but he went by himself.
I might add to what she's saying. He told us that evening that he and Robin often just drove up there and had a picnic for lunch.
Yeah.
So a lot of times he was very familiar with going up there and doing that.
Right. And that reminds me of something else, another random thought. Dick took care of Robin. He really did. And one of the things that he did was when he stopped being able to walk very much, Robin needed to walk. She really needed to walk. And so he contacted a couple of us to go walking with Robin. And he would pick me up and we would go to the Peavine Trail and he'd sit in the car while Robin and I walked. So he really took care of her.
Mike Thosen. One of the things that Gwen and I always tried to do, I don't know how we got into the habit, when we take our long extended trips across the country, we would take particular glee in going to someone's former home or college campus. And that includes Bobby, Bonnie, somebody else in here that we went to their home, and Dick. We went through the Penn State campus and we never would have done that otherwise. And I guess that's my main remembrance of Dick. Now about that Salton Sea camping trip. Cal Nye, good point. It was windy on that trip. And we were in a solid trailer and we thought it was going to blow over. So I can only imagine what you guys experienced. Several years ago, we had a group called the Back Road Boys. Mike, Warren, I don't know if anybody else here was. Yeah, Bill was in it. Anyway, Dick was part of that, and it gave me a chance to interact with him a good bit, hanging out sometimes on the back roads. And I was struck by, he's just an interesting fellow and really bright and knowledgeable. And I had a chance to talk about his growing up on the farm ranch in Nevada and my growing up on a farm in Indiana. And I must say, growing up as a kid, I always thought out west, well, all the men were cowboys for one thing, and that it was just very different. And I was struck by how similar our youth were growing up on farms or ranch, whatever that was. But I've always enjoyed my interactions, conversations with Dick, and we'll miss that.
Thank you. What wonderful memories to bring Dick alive among us. I remember the day after he had found out that his condition was very serious. We met in Davis Hall, and he brought pictures of his time in South America. And I think I said this in the memorial service, but I think I thought that something that was quite amazing was that he had some time to know that his life was nearing the end. And he had such a generosity. I think that that he also was generous with himself, which I think is a wonderful gift. He truly spoke of his life as having been a great gift, and that he was sorry that it was ending sooner than he thought that it would, but that he was grateful for that time. And in an email, he wished me well. He said, you know, something like, enjoy the beautiful life you are having. And I think that those are the words I'd like to give to you as we end this service, to take Dick's full body enjoyment of life into your own now, and remember him. Remember the Salton Sea. So thank you all, and thank you who are joining with us. And so I found a poem today, and it just reminded me somehow of something that that Dick might have liked. It's by W.S. Merwin, a poet I like very much, and it's for the anniversary of my death. Every year, without knowing it, I have passed the day when the last fires will wave to me and the silence will set out, tireless traveler, like the beam of a lightless star. Then I will no longer find myself in life as in a strange garment, surprised at the earth and the love of one woman, and he would say two, and the shamelessness of men, as today writing after 3 days of rain, hearing the wren sing and the falling cease, and bowing, not knowing to what. So thank you for bringing your thoughts, because we are going to extinguish our chalice, but we're going to keep Dick Fox among us. Thank you, and thank you all. Bye. And now for the imaginary whiskey. Okay, thank you all. Bye. Oh, I see somebody was.
Thank you. I don't know if you can hear us or not, but thank you.
can
That
hear
was lovely. Please, yeah, please thank everyone. That was just
I
lovely.
will.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.